The first part to understand is that in every manual transmission vehicle, you're gonna have this stick right here. So this is how you change into the different gears. And you're gonna see here the pattern of the different gears from first to second, third, fourth, fifth, and reverse. Now this flat line across the middle, this area right here is neutral. So when the stick is in this area, you can wiggle it back and forth wherever you want, and that means that the vehicle is in neutral. And then when you push the clutch in, you can push it all the way to the left and up into first, all the way down to second. And then when you go up to third, you'll notice you don't really have to go up to the middle and push it over and then go up. All you have to do is kind of push up into the side. So you'll kind of just push up into the side and it will slide right into third. And then for fourth, you really just have to pull straight down. And then the same thing for fifth, up and to the right, and it will slide right into fifth gear. So now to go into reverse, we'll find it in neutral, push all the way over to the right and down. And you'll feel it go into reverse. You'll know that if you're in fourth or in reverse. It will feel a little bit different. So now that we're in reverse with the clutch in, we can let the clutch out and start to go backwards in reverse. All right, so to understand the different parts of a manual transmission, down here below, you have the clutch, the brake, and the gas pedal, right? So in order to change gears, you have to have the clutch pushed in all the way. If the clutch is not pushed in, you're not gonna be able to switch gears. You're not gonna be able to move the stick to where it's supposed to go. So whenever we're switching gears, we take our foot off of the gas and put the clutch in. And then when we're ready and we're in gear with the stick, then it's kind of like a transition of letting the clutch out while at the same time pushing the gas down. If you let the clutch out without pressing the gas, you're going to turn off the vehicle. The vehicle is going to shut off. So obviously you're only going to use your left foot with the clutch. Your right foot is going to be for the brake and for the gas. So let's do a test run. Right now I'm in neutral. I'm gonna push it all the way to the left and up into first. While my foot has the clutch all the way down, my other foot's on the brake. As soon as I let my foot off the brake, whenever the clutch is in, we could potentially start rolling. So if you're on a sloped surface, the vehicle could start rolling. So you need to be aware of that, knowing once you let off the brake, you could roll forward, you could roll backwards, depending on where you are on a hill. Right now I'm on a flat surface, so I can take my foot off the brake, move it over to the gas, and slowly release the clutch while simultaneously pushing down on the gas. And then you'll feel that smooth spot where you can take your foot all the way off the clutch while you have the gas pushed down, and the car or vehicle will keep moving forward. All right, so now that the vehicle is in first gear, once you hear the engine start to rev and you know it doesn't really go any faster, that's where you're gonna shift into second. So while your foot is on the gas, you're gonna take your foot off the gas, push the clutch all the way down, shift down into second, and then simultaneously release the clutch while pressing the gas to have a smooth shift into second gear. To shift into the third gear is the same thing. Once you feel the engine isn't going any faster, you're gonna take your foot off the gas, push the clutch all the way in, push the stick up into third, and simultaneously release the clutch while pressing the gas back down. You'll do that same process for going into fourth and fifth gear. Once you hear the engine and feel the engine start to rev a little, you start to not go any faster, push in the clutch, shift down to fourth, then simultaneously release the clutch while pressing the gas. And it'll take some time to find that soft spot of where you can fully let go of the clutch and press the gas without, getting that hard pop from popping the clutch, as they say. So another thing to keep in mind when driving a stick shift is when you slow down, you might need to shift down. So if you're in third gear and you start to slow down, maybe less than 25, 20 miles per hour, you might feel the engine start to chug a little. That's a sign that you need to shift back down into second gear. The same goes from going from fifth to fourth, from fourth to third. You're starting to lose speed and you hear the engine start to chug, you need to shift down a gear so that you're in the proper gear for the speed that you're going. A general rule of thumb for most vehicles is that you'll use first gear just to get started from a complete stop. And you'll quickly hear the engine rev right around 10 miles per hour. Second gear will take you all the way up to maybe 25, which is where you'll shift into third. Third will take you from 25 to 35 miles per hour. Fourth will take you 35 to 45 miles per hour. And fifth will be freeway speeds of 50 miles per hour or faster. That's a general rule of thumb, but you'll learn as you drive stick more and more, you'll get the feel of when you need to shift up and down. So like I mentioned before, listening to the engine will be a good indicator of when you need to shift. But when you're just learning, you can look at the RPMs, and when the marker goes between 2 and 3, that's a pretty good sign that you need to shift. When you're going freeway speeds, you may notice that in your vehicle, your RPMs might get up above 3, and that's okay because 5th is usually the highest gear in any manual vehicle. So when I'm coming up to a stop sign here, I'm in second gear, and I'm going to come to a complete stop. So I'm going to push the clutch in, put it in neutral while I'm waiting here at the stop sign with the clutch in. When I'm ready to go, I'm going to put it in first and start driving again. Whenever you're starting from a complete stop, you want to start in first gear. If your vehicle is rolling at all, you can usually start from second gear. So if I'm coming to a yield or just a rolling stop and the vehicle is still slightly moving, I can usually start from second gear. A lot of times you'll notice your vehicle won't even let you put it into first gear unless the vehicle is at a complete stop. You'll also hear the gears grind a little if you try and force it into a gear that it shouldn't be going in. If you're going too fast, too slow, you'll hear it grind and you'll know that it's not the proper time to shift into that gear. A few final things to keep in mind is when you're parking your vehicle, make sure that you put the vehicle in gear when you park. So if I'm parking, I'm going to push the clutch in, put it in first gear, and then I can turn off the vehicle and park the vehicle. This will help prevent the vehicle from rolling. That's really all there is to driving a stick shift or a manual transmission. A lot of it really comes down to listening to the sound of the engine. If you hear that high revving sound, you know that it's maybe time to shift up to a higher gear. And if you hear that low chugging sound, you know that maybe you're in too high of a gear and you need to shift down a gear. So if you feel the engine chugging, and you're in third gear, you should probably shift down to second. But if you're in second gear and you hear the engine revving really high pitch, that's probably a good sign that you're ready to shift into third gear. A lot of that will just come with feel. A couple other things to remember is when you're on a hill, remember that when you push the clutch in and you take your foot off the brake to start moving, the car will roll backwards. So you got to make sure that you're pretty quick from releasing the brake to pushing down the gas and letting the clutch out, because there's going to be that really small window of where the vehicle will start to roll backwards before it starts to go forwards. So I'd recommend practicing on a hill where there's no cars for a few times so you start to get the hang of that, so you're aware of how your vehicle is going to roll. And every vehicle is different. Your reverse might be different, the way that it feels might be a little bit different. So get familiar with your specific vehicle, how it operates, how your clutch operates, where that sweet spot is in the clutch, and you'll learn where that is on where the vehicle really starts to move in that certain point of the clutch. If you guys have any more questions about driving a stick manual transmission, leave a comment below this video. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Once again, guys, I'm Andy. You're watching Learn How. We'll see you in the next video.